All right, looks like we're live now. Tom and Q Show, episode 13. You can see I'm alone here. There's a purpose behind me being alone. One of the reasons is last week, after going back in time and watching the episode from last week, I realized that Q's mic was on all the time. Meanwhile, ours wasn't, or mine wasn't. So I'm testing mine right now. So I'm going to walk around and test and to see if we can hear Quentin's mic. Sounds pretty good.
I hear it.
Okay,
So,
that sounds better.
yeah,
I think it's on. I think that's what it was.
I think so.
So if you can't hear one of our mics, please help us out. Just let us know that it's kind of silent on one side and silent on the other. So I apologize for that last week because I was making clips from last week and kind of doing the synchronicities clip that I did this morning. I'm like, man, this really sucks. I can't even. I'm trying to talk and I can't even hear what I'm saying, but I can hear what you're saying. Great.
Right.
So it's those technical difficulties, kind of as we go through. So don't forget whatever it was that we just did before. Do it again next week. So, Alexa, stop. So here we are, episode 13.
Yeah. Ooh, lucky 13.
Episode 13. We've done it. Today at a brand new time and brand new place. Well, not place, but time and place, I guess, on Facebook.
Yeah.
But so we'll see kind of. Maybe I'm not drinking the bourbon. Maybe it's coffee. I don't know. You guys can guess whatever it is. Maybe it's a little bit early. Maybe maybe it's
I stopped
not.
and got my pike. So before we get going, it's an early rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So I'm big on efficiency.
Okay.
I'm a patient guy.
Like a multitasker.
No, not
'Cause
really multitasking, but there is a lot of efficiency in that. So Jessica would be more of the multitasker.
Okay.
I'm just saying if you're doing this one thing, be very, very smooth and waste no motions and just be very, very efficient. There's a technique to everything to make it a little bit quicker.
Sure.
And Chick-fil-A to me is the gold standard.
Mm-hmm.
So right, that's one process of going through their drive-through where they are extremely efficient.
I love the people that people are getting vaccinated and stuff now.
Yeah.
And like the people that are like they might complain about the lines or like even like if you had Chick-fil-A like running everything with a line,
Yes.
it would run fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Disney, Chick-fil-A.
Yes. Chick-fil-A is the standard for most things. So Starbucks I go to because I love their pike coffee, which I'm drinking coffee.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to get a little slow. And I'm like, man, the few Starbucks that are in my path, so it's kind of discouraging. Again, I'm a patient guy, but I'm like, there's so many ways. I just want to get in there and just train their staff on, hey, there's a faster way to do this.
Yeah.
Let's just be efficient. Not impatient, just efficient. So I pulled into Starbucks this morning, and right outside before the speaker, there was a lady with her little tablet. How can I take your order?
She knew it was coming.
I said, Chick-fil-A. That's what Chick-fil-A does.
Yep.
I was like, yes. Starbucks is modeling their drive-through. I hope this is just one star. I don't know if it's a thing that Starbucks is rolling out or if it's test stores. I don't know where they stand on that. But that gave me a little jolt before I even had my coffee. So I hope Starbucks is rolling out the Chick-fil-A efficiency just to keep moving. And it's awesome.
It's amazing, and you can go back in time, quite a few weeks when we did our lunch roulette, and it was like looking at the line at Chick-fil-A. That was the one place that we couldn't even figure out a way to crack their efficiency code that day. It's like, we couldn't crack it. Like, man, how do we do this?
Yeah, because they pay,
Yeah.
and for us to pay for the person behind us, I don't know that they have that system set up. So
No.
we've got to figure that out.
Yeah, and I think it's probably frowned upon to kind of walk up on, the teenage kid working working the line.
We just throw your car in park and walk back.
Yes.
I got you, buddy.
So here we are.
Yeah.
April 22nd. Earth Day.
Earth Day.
Earth Day.
Isn't it neat that we came off of 2 winters and 2 springs yesterday to Earth Day
It's
today?
unbelievable. 2 inches of wet snow, the day before Earth Day. Which,
Mhm.
I mean, if you live in Cincinnati, it's not unheard of to
Correct.
get snow this late into April. It's rare,
Correct.
but it's not unheard of, right? I mean, we have usually when the weather here starts turning, you feel pretty good that you're kind of heading towards that point of spring and summer, and you're not going to backtrack into something else.
Right.
Right. So, Earth Day. I feel like for Earth Day, right, we should dedicate one song to planet Earth.
Okay.
But it has to be, I'm going to go real stereotypical on this, right? So it has to be kind of an earthy song.
All right.
Okay.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Good. Good. What about Blind Melon, the bee song?
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like it. These are great for. I like that song.
What else? Should we play that one?
Yeah, that's.
I don't know. I think we should name at least 3 more earthy songs.
Wow.
Eye of the Tiger.
Oh man, you got me, man. You put me on a spot here. Proud Mary. Rolling down the river.
The river. Okay. When I think of Earth Day, I think of trees.
So do I. That's what I'm thinking of.
Is there any songs about trees or?
Wow, we are stumped here. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
but let's ask Alexa what she knows. I mean, she works here. So, Alexa, play me an Earth Day song.
The playlist Earth Day on Amazon Music.
is there literally a Earth Day song?
I don't know. I've never requested it before. Apparently not. Alexa, do you have any songs about trees?
I couldn't find any tree songs.
Do you have any?
What kind of music do you want to listen to?
How-
Perhaps rap and hip hop?
No.
We could just go with something hippie-ish. Weren't they kind of earthy?
Swimming Pools Drank extended version by Kendrick Lamar on Amazon
Swimming Pools Drank. I don't even know. The Thrift song. That's earthy. That's like recycling, right?
I think we should just go with the original. Alexa, play the Bee song by Blind Melon.
I couldn't find the Bee
What's the
song
song?
by Blind Melon, but here is other music by Blind
Dang
Melon.
it, they're gonna put us to work. There it
You
is.
got it. Yes. So Earth Day.
So there's a
I just remember the Bee song because of the video back when MTV made videos.
yeah.
It was the little girl and she was dressed up like a bee.
Yeah.
And like back then, I'm like, why is she dressed up like a bee? This makes zero sense whatsoever. This is the worst, but I like the song.
So there's a video of, and I'm gonna name drop Jamie Heiss.
Yeah.
Where they had like the little old camcorders or whatever. She's dancing in the background and she's identical to the so
bee.
they call it. So every time I hear this song, I think of little Jamie Heiss in that video with her little dance.
So Earth
hilarious.
Day. For Earth Day, Blind Melon. Okay. Episode 13. Again, episode 13. Jess isn't here. What's her excuse this week?
So it was kind of neat because this morning she said she was coming on the show, so I was excited.
Mhm.
She said, "I'll race you there." So when I checked Live 360, she's still at home. So
Still at home.
I think she got me, dude.
Yeah. So that'll kind of lead us to that little bit of kind of catfish, right?
Yes.
So we were talking last week, right? And Brad, show contributor Brad,
Yep.
he, as we were talking about the eeriness, the spookiness, the things, haunted Ohio, haunted things that, our experiences in the show Hellier, when we were doing show of the week, Brad put on Facebook, what about the leprechaun in Alabama?
Mm.
So, doing as much show research as we do, we went onto YouTube as instructed by Brad
Yes.
to check out the leprechaun in Alabama. Well done, Brad. Well done.
I think he catfished.
Yes, we were catfished. So, why don't you explain as best you can,
Oh wow.
kind of when you YouTubed, Googled
So I'm trying to think. So
leprechaun in Alabama.
So the leprechaun could have been mistaken for a crackhead. So that's one of the options of what this leprechaun could have been.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I have an explanation for it. I think the crackhead is more accurate than the leprechaun because there's just sightings and the picture that was drawn of this leprechaun in the town was I don't even, it was just like a cartoonish looking cheeseburger looking.
So
I don't even know.
So the gist from what I got,
It wasn't
from
spooky or eerie or
No.
or ghostly.
It was
or,
goofy. We were expecting
Yeah.
something kind of to mimic some of the stuff that we talked about last week.
Yes.
Instead, we pretty much got the opposite. This old wives' tale of a leprechaun leaving money under the rainbow, and then the news people go out and interview these folks as they're driving their car, asking them, what do they know about the leprechaun?
That is 400-year-old leprechaun calling whistle.
Yes.
It's funny, guy. It is funny.
It's
it is
hilarious.
funny.
It's hilarious. Just
But not what we thought.
not what we expected. So, show contributor Brad catfished us last week. So
Is that
but it
the
was-
way you would show up if you were catfish, though? I mean, you meet someone and you'd be like, "Oh, wow, you look hilarious."
Yes.
Not what I was expecting.
Nope, not at all. So that's kind of our spooky recap, right? We'll probably bring Alexa, stop. We'll probably bring some of that back. I would guess October,
I hope so.
kind
Yeah.
of more geared towards kind of Halloween. Maybe in
Not
October.
crackheads.
Yeah, not crackheads. Could be a whole different show in itself. Right? But we could probably do our best Al Roker Today Show dress up impersonation like they do every Halloween. So spooky recap. All right. So what led us to last week's spooky stories and rabbit hole was show of the week.
Yes.
So do you have one?
Not last week. I'm slacking, but I mean there are shows that,
Sure.
that I've watched in the
Yeah.
past that I've loved. I'm slacking on the sitting down and watching too much TV lately. So I do not have one current one.
That's good.
Do you?
Okay. So I'm not going to tell you this show is great. I'm not going to tell you it's bad.
It's a great intro.
Okay. And so it's on Netflix. It's called Queen of the South.
Okay.
Okay. It's almost just the story, right? It's about a Mexican drug cartel and a woman who basically is living on the street. She meets someone who just happens to be, he was an American that was kind of working for this Mexican drug cartel in Mexico someplace. And they end up falling in love or whatever, having this relationship. Meanwhile, he's still in the cartel. And things happen as the storyline goes through. They end up working for the cartel leader who's running for some type of office. And then his wife, they're getting a divorce. She's running a whole different scheme on her own, basically because she hates him. This girl's kind of caught in the middle. I won't spoil anything. There's a lot of action.
Yeah, I like those where you get storylines that mesh together and overlap, and you have to preserve your identity, that kind of self-preservation, but you also have to work with the others to make things for that. It's neat. I love when those things get intertwined like that.
And it's all about this girl basically, this lady basically surviving and trying to thrive in this underworld, for lack of a better way of saying it. But it's interesting, and I just got through. I think there's 3 seasons. I've just got through season 1. It's still active, so I think they're going to do more seasons. So I'm kind of behind in regards to I can't really give you a recommendation if it's good or not.
Right.
And this is going to get a little bit stereotypical, but and women, ladies, don't take this the wrong way, but I feel like if it was a man in that position, I probably would have a little bit more interest. I get where the story is going.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're almost and she's good. The role for her is awesome. It's really odd watching a woman play kind of this and I mean this in the utmost like respect and sincerity, and not trying to sound sexist or anything like that. It's just it's a different perspective on this cartel life. If you've seen like who was the shoot the big giant who was the big giant Mexican cartel head several shows ago.
I know who you're saying.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, this is going to go down a quick rabbit hole, and we're probably going to have to tread lightly. But, you know, some of the equal rights movements and stuff like that we see in the world today, it's some of the platforms they stand on is how we're programmed to see things.
Yeah.
So we're so used to seeing shows with men in certain positions that when we see something out of character or just a different identity, it is something that we all collectively kind of struggle with. Was, you know, it's when you see, you know, Tom Hanks is one of the few actors that can play multiple roles, but when you see Jim Carrey as a comedian, then when he takes on a serious role, it's like
not the same.
It's awkward to us. So to see a woman in one of those positions, I think it is adjustment. So Boardwalk Empire, who Steve Buscemi is such a great comedian.
Mm-hmm.
To see him in a role of such a powerful mob type leader role, it took me. I loved the show. It's one of my favorite shows I've ever watched. But it took me a few seasons to really reprogram my brain to see him in a role of power and authority. So it crosses over beyond gender to just who we affiliate people with as roles that we expect them to be in. So it's kind of neat perspective.
This show starts off kind of odd. So it's one of those shows that kind of it portrays it as starting off at the end.
Yeah.
And then flashes to how that particular story gets there, right?
Yeah.
So
that's bad writing, by the way. I hate when writers do that because they wow.
Yeah.
And then now that I've got your attention, let's go back to where it all started. Because a good writer can say, let's start here and take you there.
Well, and you see like Queen of the South, right? So immediately you've got her on there, and she's dressed in these high class uppity clothes. Her hair is back, and then it goes into that story, and then it's the lowly village girl who is fighting for everything she can to survive and gets hooked up into this cartel, and she's always just trying to. She's never really trying to do bad things,
right?
She's just ultimately trying to constantly survive, and like it's a constant. There's just a lot of action where it's like she gets kidnapped. It's like, and this is not the sexist part. It was like we talked about. It was kind of odd that there was so much action surrounding this lady at any given time, and it was the characters that were doing all of the action were like secondary.
Right.
Does that make sense? So it was like it was kind of written from a different. When I say what I said, it's like it was more so just the difference of perspective. It wasn't like, okay, she's in danger. We're gonna do the old story of the hero is gonna come in and save the day.
Right.
No, it's she's in danger. How's she gonna find her way? One of the shows that I was kind of comparing it to was the show 24.
Okay.
Which I love 24, and that's what I'm having this hard time getting over this hurdle.
Gotcha.
Was like 24 was all action, some turns and some things that kind of happen, and you're trying to follow along. Whereas this had that action, but instead of it being Jack Bauer, it was this woman, Teresa.
Right.
And she wasn't trying to save the world. She was trying to get out of whatever world she was in and just either make it to America and live or survive wherever she was. So as far as recommendations, is it a good show, is a bad show? So far it's okay. I mean, I'm a finisher, right? So like when I start a show,
Mariano Rivera,
regardless if it's good or bad, I'm going to watch it to its progression.
Yeah.
So that I can come on here and tell you that, hey, that's a good show, or that show sucks, or here's something else, or whatever it might take.
Jessica and I've done that on a few shows. We start watching, it's like, all right, this is slow moving. But again, it goes back to good writing and bad writing.
Yeah.
See what this writer can do with this show to see if they can take us somewhere. And then sometimes you get somewhere, and sometimes it's over, and you're like, huh. Well, at least I watched it to the end.
Right.
I don't think you just left
Or-
with just anticlimactic, just kind of.
The worst is this is you're watching a show, you've been watching it for X amount of seasons, and you like it was good, and they bring it back another season,
Yeah.
and that season's not so good. It's like, you were kind of okay just ending it
Yeah, you should have
right
just
then.
ended it. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I saw this. You watched Peaky Blinders, correct?
So when you were talking about the show that Queen of the South,
Yeah.
I was thinking of Peaky Blinders because it's. No, I was thinking of Sneaky Pete. Never mind. Go ahead. Toss 'em up.
But you have seen Peaky Blinders, correct?
Yes.
So this came across on Twitter. So they're making another season right now.
Okay.
And then there's supposed to be a movie. Okay. Tragic news. The older sister of on Peaky Blinders, I'll give you her name. I saw this and I'm
Jessica watched that show a lot more than I did. The few times I did chime in and watch it,
it's phenomenal.
it's fantastic. I mean, it's honest.
Polly Gray.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I was looking to see if there was a story on it. So, long story short, okay, Helen McCrory, who plays Polly Gray, the older sister, one of the stars of Peaky Blinders, has passed away.
Do we know why?
That's what I'm looking to see. It kind of, as we were talking about it, I'm like, man, I love that show. I'm like, I feel terrible for, she passed away on the 16th. Let's see if there's a story.
So I wonder, because I'm sure they're into, that's tragic. So first we pause for, the family and her and the
Sure.
loss and address that. I just wonder how.
Cancer.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Following a secret cancer. Passed away peacefully following a secret cancer battle. So obviously, that's terrible news. Awful news for one, anybody to go through. Two, and this is again a little bit more, I guess, lighthearted. Not to make lighthearted this,
Sure.
As much as I love that show, I'm like, oh no, like
That's a void in the show.
A huge void. She played such a giant part,
Right.
of the show. Basically, she's not even really second in charge. Like, she's basically the boss.
Right.
And then there were times where he's the boss. But, like, she a lot of times ran that show, and nobody fought with Polly. And they're going to make a movie, too, or we're going to make a movie. So, man, how does it, like, that show without her that's going to be tough.
Yeah. And you get those certain personalities that you gravitate to, that they're just naturally good at their craft of acting, and the writers do such a great job to really move you. So when you do see that woman in a position of aggressive power, not power, just that physical aggressive position that we're not accustomed as a society, you can see somebody pull it off, and you don't miss a beat because they do it so well.
Right.
And then when you see someone that it's like, man, what is it? Is it the acting? Is it the fact that it's a female? Is it
Right.
like, what is it that?
Right.
Because we just have a case right now where we see a woman in that aggressive physical leadership role that, wow, she's awesome. And then you see it again. So Yellowstone, a girl that played that part.
Yes.
I mean, love her character.
No, I know. It's
She's an animal. She's awesome.
she's ruthless.
And I couldn't see a guy playing that role
But see,
in any way, shape, or form.
And this is, I think we've kind of hit on the differences when when I'm talking about like Queen of the South.
Yeah.
So like you take Polly from Peaky Blinders and you take the daughter from Yellowstone. Those two, like, very, very different times, different places.
Yeah.
Very similar in terms of like, no, this is a cutthroat business. This is a cutthroat deal. This is a cutthroat thought. Like, but all these shows have these different side stories going all these different directions.
Yep.
Right. So like you have Peaky Blinders, you got all the brothers and the sisters and the wives and the deals, and then Yellowstone, you have the brothers, the wranglers, the politicians, and all these different deals and everything going on. Whereas like Queen of the South was like, at least for season 1, there weren't a lot of those side stories. It was all this girl, how it was one story, how's she going to survive? Because again, they started at the beginning where she's put, apparently on top.
Right.
How did they get to that point? So it's all about how, but it doesn't really tell the side story of the people so much that are around.
Gotcha.
Right. So it's not going in like 5 different directions and it all kind of meets into one. It's really just kind of one direction and things kind of stay that way. So I'm going to keep watching it.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'll definitely chime in and get caught up on that just to see where we're going.
Yeah.
And I think this might be a first show of the week to be continued.
Yeah,
I think it'd be good to come back and get both perspectives on this.
A full report, right? So
Queen of the South.
Queen of the South. It's on USA. I saw that it's also on Netflix, right?
Yep.
Catch up on Netflix. But
I've seen it.
It's a USA show. So I guess they're coming out with a season 4.
All right.
So,
wow. So it's doing well.
Yeah. So get to that point of trying to get to that point of season 3, coming through 2 and 3 to where when the new season. Here's another tape. Talking about that. Like, it's so weird in the technology and the times that we live in, right? So I remember when, like, DVR, TiVo came out.
That was such a big thing then, wasn't it?
Right? Before you had to figure out how to set the VCR.
1989.
And you would have to set it. And if that show.
Hip-hop. Yes.
If you missed that show.
Number 12. Yeah, so now it's everything streamed, everything's there. There's no waiting for anything. I mean, Hulu they have a few that they'll release, but how many times you just wait till the season's done and you just binge watch it?
No, that's what I mean. That's what I was getting at. Is like I try not to watch any shows live. I really don't watch any shows live.
Yeah.
It's all. I'd much rather let's just wait for it to be completely finished,
so I can get
through it. Like even like Yellowstone, I had the Paramount Channel, right? So, but I didn't have the app to go back and do it. So I basically set the DVR. Like it was probably a year ago,
right?
Kind of as we go through this and everybody's watching all these shows. Alexa, play "Me, Myself, and I" by De La Soul.
I couldn't find Me, Myself, and I by De La Soul, but here is other music by De La Soul.
Time.
You know what would have been great if they would have played Me, Myself, and I.
I know.
Alexa, play Me, Myself, and I.
Me, Myself, and I, explicit by G-Eazy and Beauty Rexa.
Nope, stop.
Let's go, Chalk. Let's go to
number 11.
I don't see 11, but I do see 10. Alexa, we're going to 9. It's an executive decision. Alexa, play Wild Thing by Tone Loc.
Oh, yeah.
Alexa, play Wild Thing by Tone Loc.
Oh.
Sorry, I saw that one.
There we go.
Yeah.
So should we just let 1989 play today?
What did we do that last week? Did we do that?
Yeah, we stopped. We let 96 play. We let 98 play.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
we'll do it after this.
1989 is a good year.
Like so, I set the DVR for Yellowstone like a year ago because when I first went on, it was like, oh, okay, I DVR'd it, but I had like episode 3 of season 2, and I'm like, okay, no, I just need to let this roll through. So
yeah,
probably about a month or two, I went and looked again. I had them all. I was talking to a neighbor friend of mine. He's like, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. I'm like, I know. I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting for them to pile up so I can watch
it. For it to be done.
And so
I can be up until 3 a.m.
yeah,
watching it.
No, that's what it was. And so wait for that to be done. Another one like Shameless, right? Like they have a new one on Showtime. So it's like I never watch it live anymore. Like it used to have to like set your VCR to record it, and if you missed it, like you had to wait for like the spring season for it to come back out, or wait for it to be in simulcast to watch it again.
Yeah.
What happened on that show? Or you had to be home. Yeah, 24. Like we used to do that. Like before we had like DVR, like we got to be home. 24's on. Survivor. You see a lot of people with their Survivor parties.
Yeah. Wow, that's rabbit hole. on how many, look, as kids, we used to only watch cartoons Saturday mornings, so we had to center our life around Saturday mornings, and then we had to watch our shows on the days they were out, so we had to schedule our life around what we wanted to do. But now it's the absolute opposite. Everything in the world schedules around our life. We can do whatever we want, and we can watch our shows whenever we want. We don't have to wait till Tuesday. We don't have to watch from week to week to week. We don't have to wait till Saturday morning. We can do whatever we want, whenever we want, because it's either DVR'd or it's streamed to where we can just pick it up. So we don't have to wait for anything anymore.
It's a world of convenience.
100%. And it goes back to my beef with Starbucks, guys.
Everything,
you make it more convenient and more efficient.
Everything except for, like, traveling.
Yeah. I need to figure out this 12-hour drive to Massachusetts be 15 minutes.
How do I get it to where, like, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, like,
they don't have phone booths anymore.
Here we are. Oh, that's good. You know, going to stopping off, you have your pager, like, oh, I got to call somebody. Anybody got 35 cents? Like, whose bright idea was it to make the telephone
just a quarter.
35 cents?
Yeah,
I got a quarter.
Just go with a quarter.
Yeah. You know, call that person. Nowadays, you give one of the kids, like, the old rotary phones. I have no idea.
How does this work?
No idea what they're doing. None whatsoever. So, again, recap. Show of the week. Queen of the South. Give it a shot. Maybe you'll have a different perspective.
All right.
You know, we've done this show now for 13 weeks. A few weeks ago, Cecilia Long reached out and said, hey, come do the show at Fretboard. So just an FYI, Cecilia, if you are out there, we want to do the show at Fretboard. I IM'd you yesterday, so I'm putting you on blast right here on Facebook Live that, yes, we want to come do it. IM me back, hook up, figure out a time that we can come check it out. So that just kind of hit me going off topic.
Yeah,
but,
no, that's good. So which kind of something we talked about yesterday.
Yeah.
We talked with our partner, Mr. Ryan Weber, that we're looking for nominations, guys. We're looking for people that you know that have made an impact in your life or in the community. A local legend, you know, someone that has made a significant difference, and we want to take the show on the road. We've got some things lined up that we've met with our designers, that they're going to put some things together, and we'd like to get out and highlight people in the community for the great things that they do, and for why you respect them and how they made a difference in your life. And we just want to, you know, we say it a lot, we say it every show, we just want to bring light to the good things in the world.
Yeah.
So nominations, please highlight some local legends. We want to take this show on the road. We can do it at their place. We can bring them here. We can, you know, however it works. You know, we both have the mentality of figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, what are we going to do with this? We know the one thing we're going to do with it is we're going to highlight good people.
Yes.
And we're going to put them on the platform that they deserve to be on. And we're going to pat them on the back and, you know, make sure that kindness is highlighted.
Yeah.
In this world today.
Kindness, doing the right thing, right? We talk about rooting for the person, right?
Yes.
Those types of things are huge in, one, our general outlook on life, you know, as individuals, but two, for the show, the reasons we do some of the things. We want to have fun, but in the same sense, like, we want to highlight things that are good. Right?
Correct.
Instead of, you know, I can look over the top of your shoulder, you know, you've got the news. And obviously this week there's a lot of news out there. So,
yeah,
you know, not to discard any of that news, but we just want to be the escape.
A break. Yes,
you know,
yes.
a break from it towards, like, you know, if we can bring a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of attitude to a little bit better attitude towards just being where you're at and being present, right? We talked about that a few weeks ago.
There is significantly more good in the world than bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it were the other way, we wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be here.
Right?
It'd be terrible.
So you know, good always wins. You know, yes, we all have challenges in our own hearts that we have to overcome to be as good as we are striving to be. So, you know, goodness is not a natural thing, I don't think. To strive to be that is something you constantly work on. But, you know, if you can highlight that and make the cool kid the nice kid, then let's do that.
Why not?
Right? Yes, exactly.
Make that nice kid, or vice versa, make that nice kid all of a sudden the cool kid.
Right.
Because he gets some pretty sweet swag.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Guy or girl, I can speak from a guy's perspective. And, you're out there, you're at the grocery store, a couple honeys come rolling up because you got your local legend
I'm a
shirt
legend,
on,
baby.
Yeah. Make a whole big music video.
Yeah, self-proclaimed, but I'm a legend.
Alexa, play top songs from 1989. And we'll roll with that.
Playing Billboard songs from 1989.
So, speaking of the week, right? So, being in Cincinnati, Ohio, we are accustomed to just crazy weather.
Yes.
Especially during the close of a season, going into another season, whether it's spring into fall,
Right.
fall into winter, summer into fall, so on and so forth. Like, we were 70 degrees all weekend.
Yes.
And then Wednesday night, like, the bottom fell out.
That's a great way to word that.
So, and I watch a lot of the news, right?
Yes.
And mainly it's for the weather. Like, what am I, it's baseball season. It's like, what's it going to be like
yes.
at 4 o'clock or whatever, or 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever that is.
What are we looking at game time?
What am I
How do you
wearing?
dress? Yes.
What am I wearing? What do I need, a sweatshirt? Can I wear shorts? What's it going to be? And so
Those days that go from like 80 to 60
yes,
are brutal.
yeah.
Because you show up for 80 and then you're freezing at the end of the game.
by the time it's over.
Yes.
So we were playing. I say we. I was at Carson's game at Winton Woods. I'm just gonna turn this down just a bit. So, is that too loud or too quiet?
We can hear it. I think that's more of the point. Is that
I mean, if
that
I
we
start
can-
breaking out in song, then
yeah,
everybody
I'm
will hear it.
singing a song in my head.
Do you think we'll get dinged by YouTube if we are singing the song?
That's how it happened, baby. That's how it happened.
So, we're there.
You're welcome for that.
And I was actually prepared. So it's Wednesday, right? And the weather's going to turn. So we get there, and I remember getting in the car when we had basically the whole family. We're getting in the car, and I'm dressed for, at the time it was 70 degrees, maybe 65.
Yep.
But I'm dressed at this point for 55. Okay, I'm just ready. So I get in the car, and I am sweating. Like, I'm turning the air conditioner on.
Right.
The game starts at 5. Like, sit there watching the game, and like by first pitch, you could feel the temperature drop a little bit. Then it was a little bit more. Then the wind picked up.
Right.
And like Blake's in shorts. Like now, and like he's running around. Kids, they don't really pay that much attention to it. But I'm like, I've got a long sleeve shirt, a warm long sleeve shirt, almost a sweatshirt, like, and jeans, and I'm feeling the wind just cut right through me. And it's not a hard wind; it's just one of those like cool breezes.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of eerie, where it's like, this is not good, not good, not good. Got in the car, I'm freezing cold,
Yes.
freezing cold to leave, and it was probably a little before 7. Like from 5 o'clock until say 6:45, 7, the temperature drop was ridiculous.
Yes.
Like, when I noticed when I got in the car, the air conditioner was still on. I'm like, who did this? I'm like, oh yeah, it was 70 degrees, and I was sweating going in here. Now I'm freezing, and we, later on that night, we could hear something hitting the wall outside. It was sleet and snow, and I'm like,
Yes.
that's I'm like, okay, this is just way too much, like way too cold, way too late after we've already established.
Yeah, yesterday was bizarre, man.
It was
bizarre.
so weird.
It was. So again, everybody knows you woke up to all the snow and it's sunny and lavishly green outside.
Yeah.
And then so Audrey and I had dentist appointments yesterday, and so we go and we leave. And then when we go in, it was nice and sunny, and we walk out to, snowballs the size of, or snowflakes, it's the size of like or golf balls. Like it was incredible of like, in one day, it's just, so once Mother Nature makes up its mind, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Let's go. Let's get to 70 regularly and enjoy that
I had
life.
I had cut my grass last week for the first time all season. So,
Yeah. I put a post. Should I cut my grass before it snows?
yeah, I saw that. That's got me thinking about that. I'm like, so we did some
I
work.
did not cut my grass. It did not need it that bad.
I
but
did see a picture,
It was a thought.
a picture video of a guy on a tractor here in town, not cutting his grass, cutting the snow.
I saw.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And then they changed the word snowing.
Yeah,
Snowing. Yeah, snowing.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty good. But so we did some work in the backyard and basically like took out all of our yard, which wasn't that great to begin with, but it's better than what we had now. So I did a lot of seed and straw in the fall, thinking as the spring comes and like it'll start sprouting. In a lot of areas it did,
Yeah.
right? But there's still some bald spots. So like I had half of mine, and I did to just go throw some more grass seed down before. When you said that about cutting the grass, I'm like, no, I should just go get some grass seed, throw it down on those bald spots, and let the snow soak it in. Because I thought snow, okay, I didn't see it being that much, but
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought it was going to be a dusting. It was.
yeah, if that was the winter time, kids are off school.
Yeah. Jessica came home from work and she took a few pictures of our house. Like when she turned down our street, you could see. I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But well, let's get on with what we got to get on with.
So, talking about the weather, perfect segue into 2 nights ago. That same, what's today's Thursday, so it would have been Tuesday night. Yeah, so the Reds game. I don't know if you watched it.
No, I didn't. But
Okay.
I saw they got canceled, and a good friend of mine, he's a photographer, USA Today.
Okay.
So he got some great snapshots of the snow in the background.
Coming in.
Oh, so awesome.
So I'm watching the game. The Reds were winning at the time, 4-3. Then it was tied. Guy hit a home run. It was tied. Still hadn't started really any weather yet. So they bring in a relief pitcher, and the bases are loaded. I'm trying to make this story as short as possible. The bases are loaded, and the weather is starting. Like it is coming down. The sleet and the ice is hitting him off the bill of his hat and bouncing down. Like it's just waves of rain and just nastiness coming in. Well, he throws a pitch, ball 4, walks in the go-ahead run in the top of the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
So the manager, David Bell, comes out and basically raises his hands like, what are we doing? Like, this is stupid, right?
It's not. This isn't Colorado.
Yeah.
That's the Sam Weiss. This is Colorado.
The umpire looks at him and basically says, get back in the dugout. We're gonna play. Well, then the catcher raises his hands like, come on, what are we, like, this is too much. We've already,
Player safety.
yeah, we walk this guy because he can't get a grip on the ball, 1, and 2, like, it's cold and this isn't getting any better. Like, if you looked at the radar, like, this isn't getting any better. Let's
Right.
kill this right now and start back over. So the umpire again goes, and again, you're just trying to picture what he's saying. I can't obviously hear what he's saying, but throws a ball back out to Lucas Sims, who was the pitcher. He looks at it, takes it, throws it in dugout. The umpire, and there's video of this, it's hysterical. The umpire throws him another ball. He looks at it, throws it in the dugout. 4 times he took the ball and threw it in the dugout. He's like, I'm not throwing it. These balls are screwed up. I'm not throwing it. It's raining, whatever. Finally, they go to the crew chief. The crew chief says, okay, bring the tarps out. And they kill it right then.
Yes.
Like, it was totally savage moment right there from that
That's
pitcher.
awesome.
Like, now, take your ball, shove it. Like, we're not playing anymore. It's stupid. I mean, the Reds, they were wearing their white jerseys. It was raining so much that I could see his nipples underneath his white jersey. It was like a wet T-shirt contest in 35-degree weather for Lucas Sims out there on the mound. It was brutal, right?
Yeah, that is highlighting some of the inconsistencies that professional sports have on player safety.
Yeah,
Like if you really cared, you would
Castellanos
really
got
care.
suspended, upheld this week.
Yep.
And the reasoning was because he incited an action to where people grouped together due to COVID-19.
Right. That could go so many directions. We'll
Correct.
just leave that alone.
So, what about...
For the thought of where that could have gone.
Yeah. So, what about the night that it's pouring down rain, you've got a guy throwing the ball 95 miles an hour or more that can't get a grip on the ball?
Oh.
Is that safe? I'm not even talking about the guys running around in the dirt in the outfield and slipping and falling.
Right, and the muscles. Yeah.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking just straight Yeah, it makes zero sense.
MLB, clean it up.
They're terrible.
But ratings for Major League Baseball right now are like record high.
Which-
it's the best they've. I wonder
Do
why
you-
that is. I wonder if it's just new.
I think my
NBA is at like an embarrassingly low all-time, like
yes.
embarrassing low to being embarrassingly low, right? And MLB is at record highs.
Well, when we live in an area, so I always take some of that with a grain of salt, just in general, because I don't really watch the NBA, and it has nothing to do with the product necessarily. It's
Right.
we're
I think we're heavy toward college basketball
Yeah.
in this pocket of
Yeah.
the country
And
because we have a lot.
we
to
live in
offer
a
us.
town to where there is just that, just like you just said. There's a lot
Correct.
to offer. We always have a season of some
You
type,
see-
right?
yes,
So
yes.
you started with Reds baseball, which then leads into, and now you have FC, right? So that kind of they're kind of running parallel.
Correct.
To each other, and then it leads to football, and then football goes directly into college basketball at some point, and just kind of goes around.
It's like Coach
and around.
Ayers said when he said, dude, the thing that he gets excited about opening day for baseball
Football
is because he knows
Yeah.
baseball has to run its cycle.
Yep.
So for baseball to end, it has to start.
Yep.
And I think we're like that with. So once it's like, so yes.
So with NBA, here it doesn't really get that. But I'll be honest with you, if we had an NBA team, I would
It'd
love
be
it.
Cincinnati.
I would
Be
love
all
it.
over it.
Yeah. But I think the reason that MLB numbers are what they are, one,
No more blackouts, right? Blackout games.
that's not true.
Right. Yeah.
That's not true. You can't. So I subscribe to YouTube TV. They don't even have the channel.
What about the Bally station that the Reds are
You
on?
can't get it unless you have a login to another type of subscription, like a direct
We run into
TV.
that with ESPN all the time, trying
Correct.
to watch Paige play
Yeah,
softball.
it's
It's
stupid.
so tedious.
It's stupid.
I don't know why my phone is linked to my subscription with fiber optics, and we don't have the sports package on fiber optics
Right.
because you can stream everything everywhere.
Right.
So I can't watch ESPN, ACC Network, and stuff like that. But for somehow Jessica's phone is not linked into,
Does that go to her
so
plan?
she can watch. Yeah, it's
Because so like we have Verizon, so there's a lot that I can do on my phone, like through the plan system.
right.
That through Verizon on my phone, and my phone specifically, that I can get.
Right.
But when you try to put it on the actual television, like it has to have, like we use Fire Sticks for everything, so it has
Yep.
you have to have a subscriber. So like ESPN,
Yes.
ESPN Plus was the same way. YouTube TV, you could do that for ESPN Plus. The day after last regular season ended, Fox, YouTube TV, and Sinclair, the people that had Fox Sports, the regional networks, right?
Right.
Basically, YouTube TV canceled them the day after the baseball. And baseball season was over. The Reds were in the playoffs. They were on regular TV, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
As it started getting closer, I had realized like I'll watch some of like the Blue Jackets every now and then, and like, I haven't watched the Blue Jackets. So I'm going and clicking and looking for Fox Sports. It's not there. I'm like, uh-oh. Like, what's going on here? And then you start reading, and it's like the Bally Network. Well, like, none of the online subscription services, whether it's Sling or YouTube TV, like, they don't have access to that Bally's network. DirecTV, Spectrum, fiber optics, nothing really ever changed for them.
Right.
So, like, you still carry whatever channel Fox Sports was, it now has become Bally's. So, yeah, it's frustrating. That stuff's frustrating to me. If they tell me, like, hey, we're going to an app, like, I would just want to be able to go to that app and get what
Yeah.
I'll subscribe to your app for $5-10 if I can watch what I want to watch without having to worry about the subscription.
Correct.
Because if you're like anything, right? If you have cable or whatever, there's probably only a handful of shows or channels that you watch on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and there's going to be a streaming system that gets it out to where they're going to figure it out. It's all new, and everybody's trying to fight for their pennies and copyright and all the
You would think
piracy of what could happen out there. So I think there's going to be a streaming system that does figure it out to where I can go to Peacock and watch ESPN3 as well. So now it's I don't know, because when you try to watch them and it prompts you to go to Peacock, and you go to Peacock to watch this ESPN3 game, and then you get there and it's like, well, we can't. It's hold on.
Right.
So it's unless you buy,
It's all about the
I'm not going to buy
bundles and-
5 deluxe packages of these streaming
Right.
systems.
And at the end of the day, sometimes I wonder, like, and especially now, like, you have a lot of people cutting the cord.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, everyone I know
Yeah.
has bailed, and it's just, and we're Roku TVs, and I mean, it's just
It's way more convenient, you know. I'm not gonna lie. When I did it, I was really
cable is like Kodak. It's just done.
the Polaroid.
Yeah.
The
Polaroid's trendy, but like Kodak film, like the print off,
yeah.
it's done. It's all digital now, and I think cable is. It's done. It's over.
I really liked the DirecTV product, the output that you got from DirecTV.
Mhm.
It was simple to use. It was user friendly. Everything was great, but the cost, like, you know, you get through your promotional 2 years, and then all of a sudden they deck you with like a $60 charge. It's like, whoa, wait a second. Oh, well, you got to sign 2 more years. I'm like,
Yeah.
and then you'd call, and it's like, hey, why'd this go up? And they were such a hassle customer service wise to deal with that I like twice now in my lifetime, I've left DirecTV and have come back because
better rate.
better rate, yes, but also like the other, whether it was Fioptics or Spectrum or even Dish, whoever I'd had at the time, I had liked the DirecTV product so much that I couldn't get used to the other stuff.
Right.
Or the picture wasn't. I would just find ways. I'm picky like that when it comes to that stuff. So about 2 years ago, did a lot of research. I was nervous as heck about cutting the cord. Like, am I gonna get?
I had a buddy of mine who we talk a lot. He's a softball dad, and him and I talk a lot about a lot of the things that we choose not to talk about on this show. And you know, the more we talked about it, and he's like, I'm done with cable. I'm done with a lot of these stations. And I was like, you know what? I think I am too. So I had no hesitation. It's like, I don't even care anymore, because at that time of my life, where the kids were the age they were, that occupied the majority of my time.
Right.
So to miss out on ESPN and to miss out on some of the sports news, I didn't care, because I had to get on with my real life.
Right.
So it was so a little different from you. It was easy for me to just I didn't care anymore. Like, I was tired of what was the product that was being put on television. I didn't care. So it went through a hybrid stage of, but once the streaming system really figured out and beefed up to what it's doing with the Netflix and Hulu, and you know, we don't have YouTube TV, and you could watch so many shows, it was like, this is perfect. So I don't have to hear what I don't want to hear, and it took some distractions and unnecessary stress out of my life for paying attention to certain things going on. That
What's
it
funny
is what it is.
we started this conversation talking about the Reds, and we got on to Bally's, right? And, and I'm going to bring this full circle.
Yes.
Okay.
And we haven't even talked about your email count for the week yet.
No, we haven't. So, but when I was really nervous, like going to the first thing we went to was PlayStation Plus.
Okay.
Okay, or I forget. They ended up, like, it was good. It was a nice product. I liked it, you know. But one of the questions I had was, do I get Fox Sports Ohio? Because there's 162 Reds games.
Yeah.
That, like, if I'm home, like, that's on.
Right.
You know, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you I watch every inning of every game, because I don't. But it's just nice to have that in the background, you know, even if, you know. So that was always the big thing. Fast forward, I'm with YouTube TV now. Guess what they don't have? Valley Sports Ohio. So, again, a little bit of catfish job by YouTube TV and the people at Sinclair. So, Reds Killers, last night, Diamondbacks. Reds were up 3-0, sitting on the couch watching the game, feeling good about it. Amir Garrett comes in, walks the first 2 guys. Josh Van Meter, former Red, then comes up. See ya. Bomb. 3-3 tie. Was angry. I think they get and
It's early in the year, man.
I get it.
We
but like,
rode that high of all the runs we're scoring, and these games are going to happen.
Do the games count any less than they do later in the year?
No, they shouldn't. But I think yeah.
You don't want to
look
come
back at this game late in the year and say, "Dang it, we blew that one game."
That one.
So.
Well, actually, the last 2 they've blown. One was
Okay.
kind of weather related, in this one. So they've got I was looking today. Like last week, they were in Arizona.
Right.
The Diamondbacks are 4-9 against the rest of Major League Baseball. Currently, right now, they're 4-1 against one of the current best teams in baseball, the Cincinnati Reds.
Right.
So today they play each other, and they don't play each other again. So good riddance to the Reds killers, the Arizona Diamondbacks. So that's
great.
Kind of my Reds take for today. Another big news, right? Sports. We're staying on our sports section, right?
Yep.
So I've been waiting for this for, I guess, quite a few months. Cincinnati Bengals got new uniforms. And we talked about this briefly on how their social media people
do a great job.
Like bringing them from where never seemed like that was going to kind of be their thing.
Yeah.
To where now, like, their production value on the things that they put out is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm a big Twitter person when it comes to news. Like,
yes.
I feel like you get it much quicker there. And I'm scrolling through the timeline or whatever, and I don't know if you saw this or not, but the reveal video that they had.
Yeah.
So well done. Like,
it was cool.
Just
it was neat.
So, like, was it 2 weeks ago?
Kudos to Ocho Cinco for getting hyped up in there and coming back. And just props to him in general, man, because I think when he left Cincinnati, it was a little bitter. It was what it was, man. He was young. He was immature. He kind of ran his mouth, and he did some things that didn't necessarily settle well, but I think he's trying to mend that, and I think he has a love for Cincinnati, and he has a love for the Bengals, and it's starting to reflect. So, you know, Chad, whatever, you know, if you get this, you know, props to you, man, for later in life just making a decision that will mend an open wound or you know, just kind of a tough spot, because I think the fans will quickly embrace him and take him back.
Oh, yeah.
He has a lovable personality.
I think they missed. We talked.
I don't think Carl Pickens could come back and do
no.
a Bengals World Tour.
He was kind of really.
I don't think Corey Dillon could come back.
He could, without question.
Corey Dillon could come back with the embrace of a Chad.
Yes, because they knew, like, Corey Dillon put up with so much, man.
Yeah,
like,
you're right. I think we would easily welcome him back into the world of Bengalism.
And I think.
But Chad, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep doing the right thing by this fan base. You knew when you left it was a great fan base, and you're coming back and kind of rekindling that. So.
Well, we talk about nostalgia all the time, right? And the one thing about Chad was he was ahead of his time. He just always had.
Yeah, I agree.
Always had a good time.
Yep.
You know, whereas Cincinnati, again, we kind of go through that old Pete Rose, like, I hate the person across from me. I take this super serious. Like, I'm not friends with anybody when we're playing. I'll, you know, run through hell in a gasoline suit to get a win, right? And Chad was kind of the opposite.
Yeah. Well, he ran his mouth, man.
He did, but, like, those were checks that he knew he wasn't going to cash if it came down, you know, if it came down to it.
He ran his mouth to Ray Lewis.
Yeah, like, that was, you know... And nobody, and the thing was, all it did was just fire those guys up, so nobody wanted to, you know, like, you're talking to, like, one of the best corners of all time, and Darrelle Revis, like, what's hilarious about that, I saw this week, Revis, I remember when he played for the Jets, like, literally shut
everyone down.
Everyone. And Chad, like, would go into the game talking all this garbage, and, like, he would be shut down way worse than anybody else. I'm like, he's one of the best receivers in the league, and Revis is shutting him down. Like, just stop talking. All you're doing is angering this guy.
Yeah.
So I see a report this week where the best they were talking about, they were asking Darrelle Revis who the best route runners were in the history of the NFL. You know who named number one?
Chad?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, I don't know if you're just pumping your own ego because you shut him down so much.
Right.
But, I mean, that's pretty high praise. But
the greatest guy to ever play this game was a guy that I suffocated.
Yeah, right. So he's actually the second greatest. Actually, that's what he should have said was who's the greatest route runner of all time. He should have said me.
Yeah, right.
No, it was me. But second was Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco.
Yeah, I ran Chad's routes better than him.
Better than he did.
That's why he couldn't catch anything.
Correct. That's what he should have said.
That's great.
So
that is
the
epic trash right there.
So they got new uniforms. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't go either way. Like it's. I'm glad they kept the stripes because that is something that is us.
Yeah.
I don't think they look like the last uniforms. I don't think they look like any. They are dummied down. They're a little more plain. But I'm a plain Jane kind of uniform guy. I love the Raiders. Love the Raiders uniforms.
Keep
I love the
everything
Chicago Bears.
simple.
I don't like the flashy. I don't like the last uniforms. I
felt like that
never
was
liked them.
more of like an arena league type.
Yes.
You know.
I love classic, clean uniforms.
So do I.
I think they're intimidating. I think I just do. I think they look better. The flashier you get, the more it is for show.
Yeah.
And as a competitor, I'm not for show.
No.
I'm
Give me something clean. Give me
Yes.
something crisp, and that pops, right? So
Yes.
the only uniform that I liked that they had last was the Color Rush, which was the all white
yeah.
and black, and then the orange helmets.
I think
thought
the Bengals black on black is about as clean.
the new one,
Yes.
yeah,
Of uniforms that
and the white
in
is
all of sports.
the white is too. Like it's
Yeah.
really, really done, and I like that. Like I'm not a, we had, as many ball teams that I've run. When you're getting new uniforms, you see, I pay a lot of attention to that. So you see a lot of trends, and I'm sure in softball you kind of see the same thing, right? Like,
Right.
the color trends and things that go on, and I'm like, man, just give me white jersey, white pants, color logo, hat.
Right.
Simple. That's it. I don't need the
Yep.
flash and all that stuff. So I'm with you on there. So I agree 100%. So this is going to be a little bit kind of off topic, right? So switching gears. This hit me this morning, and because I have 3 boys, and they kind of all eat different breakfasts. Is it breakfasts?
Breakfasts.
What was the show? Like, what's it? In Living Color?
Yeah.
They all eat different kind of breakfast.
Right.
So let's talk about the evolution.
This is our song when we highlight our local legends.
Yes, there you go.
They're our heroes. They're the wind beneath our wings. So nominations. I'm gonna keep getting that plug in there for the rest of.
Oh, and by the way, to do the nominations, you can actually go onto our Tom and Q page and just hit the message button
Yep.
to nominate a person, and at that point, just kind of give us your contact information, whether it's email. We can do it through email.
Call, catch up with a story.
Yeah.
Why you're so passionate about this person, and we'll highlight them.
Yeah,
And we'll have breakfast with them.
So the evolution of breakfast, right? And I don't know, you get these random thoughts kind of as you're doing certain things throughout your day and throughout your routine. So think about the Pop-Tart. Okay? Pop-Tarts.
Brown cinnamon sugar.
We're okay. Okay, so that's where I'm going with this, right? You had the Pop-Tart was the talk about convenience, right?
Yes.
So convenience in being the Pop-Tart. My opinion, okay, there were 2 strong flavors of Pop-Tart. Public opinion, 2 strong flavors of Pop-Tart. You were either a brown sugar cinnamon guy or a strawberry guy.
Brown cinnamon sugar all day.
All day
Jessica
long.
gets the chocolate on chocolate on chocolate on
See,
chocolate.
that's just way too, like, and then the s'mores, like, let's dumb it down.
Yeah.
Let's go with the brown sugar cinnamon, strawberry. I'll give you a cherry.
Cherry was pretty good.
I'll give you the cherry.
Did they ever have an apple Pop-Tart?
I think they did.
Yeah.
You would think that would have taken off.
Yeah, because like apple pies were
Like
McDonald's apple pies were what were those Hostess apple
Oh, yeah.
pie? Oh,
Yeah.
those
What were those called?
did Pop-Tart have an apple? I don't ever remember.
I think they did. Or maybe they just could never recreate the apple pie or the apple portion because that brown sugar cinnamon was so dominant. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's raise that to another level. The evolution of breakfast. Pop-Tarts.
Toaster strudels.
Nope. Hold on. I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Pop-Tarts toasted
Yes, that's what I do. Yes.
or straight out of the wrapper.
Toasted.
See, I'm a straight out of the wrapper person.
I do both, but I prefer toasted. If I have time to chill and I'm not grabbing and going,
Yeah.
I'll heat mine up and yes. And it's
So, no, I know. Super hot.
yeah.
Right, we talked about that last week too. But so I'm the opposite. I am grab go, but I am brown sugar cinnamon.
Yeah.
So when you're talking Pop-Tarts, like Blake, we buy 2 different boxes, strawberry, cinnamon. Blake is all in on brown sugar cinnamon.
Yeah. Blake's a good kid.
Austin's more of the finicky kind where no, he wants the strawberry. Okay? So again, evolution of breakfast, right? What was like the Pop-Tart was good.
Yeah.
But when they came out with the toaster strudel, which was like a donut in Pop-Tart form, you had 2 different flavors in that. What were they? Brown sugar cinnamon, strawberry. Yes, they make other flavors.
Yes.
But
They had an apple. Their apple was good.
okay, so maybe I'm
Speaking
missing one there.
Catfish.
So
Millie. We got Millie Vanilli.
are they really singing
Yes,
or not?
you know
really
it's
singing?
true.
Girl.
As long as I'm not singing, I'm sure everybody's okay with whoever's singing.
We really can't get dinged for Milli Vanilli because they didn't even sing
Yeah,
their
they
own
don't even
song.
own it.
Yeah, that should just be we should just play Milli Vanilli, like whatever.
All the
like,
time.
Yeah.
You can't come after us.
Was it Rob and Fab? Don't ask me how I knew that.
That's great.
Toaster strudels was a game changer.
Yeah.
You take the pastry, and this is what we have now. We have both, but like the go-to is now the toaster strudel. So
I think if you ever get a toaster that cooks them right, don't ever let go of that toaster.
right, because
Because you'll get them sometimes a little burn on the outside, but the very center is cold.
well, and Austin's finicky, so like, and I try to cook when I make his toaster strudels. I try to do it the way I would like it, right? So like the toaster setting of 3 is not enough.
Right.
So if it's on 3 and I don't notice, I got to put it back in. Well, got to make sure you remember that it's still in there,
Yeah.
or else you're going to end up burning the toaster strudel. 4, it's kind of in the middle, but I don't feel that's enough because I
Right.
feel like you need to hit it again. 5 seems to be the setting, but let alone if it comes out a little bit black around the edges, you got to ice those right up for them. You know, and that icing was like the best icing.
Yeah,
ever.
you make little designs with it.
Mhm.
You try to be like you're at your experience in like culinary school of.
Like I don't eat. Unfortunately, I don't eat breakfast all that much right now. Like I'm
Right.
more of a huge, big breakfast person. But growing up, like that was like the go-to, right? The Pop-Tarts,
Yes.
then the toaster strudels. If you didn't have those, you had cereal,
Yes.
right? And we could go on and on and on about favorite cereals and
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. And
Food is a polarizing topic,
Very.
which I learned with last year. Just social media content that you would throw out. You know, I said an oatmeal raisin cookie was my favorite,
yeah,
and it is superior to all other cookies. And the traction that you get with feedback from people on how passionate they are, and it's good. Nobody's getting pissed off about your favorite cookie.
No.
So
Well-
it's a lot of fun.
So I did, last year I did when we didn't have an NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
I put together, with the boys for fun,
beautifully done.
the candy championship,
Yes.
right? And I took the way that worked out is I took votes, just blasting something on Facebook saying, "Hey, let me know your favorite candy," and you get all these things, right? And like I listed all the candies that I had, and then it ended up at being like 30 something. I'm like, no, we got to get.
Oh, 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going through my head, and I'm like, all the ones that I'm missing, and things that would just pop up, and I'm like, okay, how many votes did we get for
The Zagnut.
Milky Way? And it was like, okay, and then you counted the votes, and like whatever ones I added that didn't have votes, like those are like random seeds, and then you had your 1 seed all the way to your 16 seed, and they played each other, did by votes, and it came out right. The amount of it got a ton of traction. We had a blast doing it. The kids loved it. It was great. Like it was kind of one of those. It started as an activity
Yep.
for them because school last year really was kind of non-existent after they got let out. But the people that were like angry
Really?
at like we need a recount. We need like do this again. Like no man, like you get your chance. Like
That's
here's
my
you've
favorite
got,
candy
yes.
bar. I want it to win.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
coming down to the end, we had peanut butter Reese peanut butter cups and peanut M&Ms.
Right. Which shocked me.
The people have spoken, and so I wanted so bad to do that again.
Right.
And I will at some point. We could even incorporate it into this show.
Yeah.
But the funny part about that, like just that, my kids when they were doing it, like they added so much to the show, right? So like, and then your creative juices start flowing. Like, how can we make this funny?
Yes.
And all this
Your
stuff going on.
puns were impeccable. By
Yeah.
the way.
So that was kind of how I learned how to do some of the video that we kind of do now, right? So like putting these videos together, mashing them up, and then like I had some people like, oh, you've got to do one shining moment with this. So I'm like, I get on, like I find out how to like add background music to one shining moment. I go through and do all that stuff. It was so much fun. That's kind of off topic, but like yeah, like even to this day, like people like I run into them and maybe I haven't seen them for a while. They're like, that candy thing was awesome, but you totally missed it. Like you blew it. Like what do you mean? It's like whatchamacallit's the best candy bar. I'm like,
Right.
well, we'll do this again. It will count up.
Yeah.
Like there was so I literally like you'd be surprised at when I run into people that had seen that.
Baylor doesn't think Gonzaga blew it.
No, no,
Nor did Reese Cup
no.
think
It was
Peanut
like,
M&Ms blew it. Like,
you get one shot to
I won.
this out. So
Yes.
Random thought. And you sent me this text yesterday, and we'll end kind of the show based on this kind of thought and kind of what we think about it, and who kind of knows where it's going to go from there. But if you had to talk, and I could be messing this up, okay, but I'll set the stage for you. If you had to talk to a complete stranger for 30 minutes, and you couldn't talk to them about your job, your work, or your kids, what would you talk about?
Anything
Yeah.
is the answer. Like so Jessica asked me that question yesterday, and I texted it to you because I thought it was such a great question. Yeah. So it's that elevator sales pitch, right? Mm-hmm. How do you spark conversation right away? Or are you uncomfortable in an elevator? Like
right.
How awkward? Some people just, and there are some people that just rather not have conversation. I used to fly a lot with my old job, and I'd always sit down next to somebody, and I'd look at them, and they'd put their headphones on right away, and I'm content with that.
Yeah.
I don't care if I talk to you or not. And I've had 2.5 hour conversations that were just absolutely enlightening. And I've had on a flight with a complete stranger that we're laughing, about just random things.
Yeah.
And I am never shy to sit next to anybody. So I've lived that life of constantly flying as much as I did once upon a time.
So what was your go-to? Because don't you feel like you have kind of a routine when you get in that situation?
It's like at the bars, right? You come here often.
Yeah, right.
You coming or going?
Yeah, exactly.
You heading home? And, no, it's a layover. Oh, interesting. Where you headed?
What floor are you on? Can I push the button for you? Right?
So it's introduce the elephant in the room as quickly as possible. We're on an airplane. You're either leaving home or going home.
One or the other.
Well, yeah. There's really no other option, right? I'm actually on a layover. Okay. Well, you're still going somewhere.
Right.
Well, where are you going? Oh, interesting. Where are you from? Oh, it's a great town.
Yeah.
And that's where some of my trends of the consistency that everything in this country is connected to Cincinnati or Ohio. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I know somebody there. I used to work with somebody there. I'm actually heading there. So, yeah, I just sitting on the plane, and again, I wasn't that guy. I'd sit down, and there are people that as soon as they sit down, they get their stuff out and they work, and I'm like, cool, see ya.
Yeah.
And I'm out.
Right.
I'll go to sleep in a second, but I love to learn. I love conversation, and there's conversations that you'll have to where for 2 hours this person's just educating me on whatever it is,
Yep.
and it's so fascinating. So yeah, I don't. I'm not biased in what anybody. And sometimes, yeah, I'd learn that sometimes people just want to talk in our industry.
Yeah.
I was going through a house yesterday, and I quickly learned that this guy loves his house, the stories and the history, and on the back of the wall, it's fascinating because he was like he had 3 daughters, so we're talking about that obviously how we were relatable there, and he was his girls were all in Girl Scouts, and on the back of his house he built a rock wall all the way up the back of his house. He had the ropes on it and everything, so he would just scout leader and just teach that craft. But anyway, that has much to do about nothing. But we talked about parenting and being a father of daughters. Yeah. And he's got a group of people that he meets with. And I said, you know what, Mark, man, I would love to sit in with your group because your daughters are beyond college, all 3 of yours. I've got 1 in now, and I've got 2 coming up the pipeline. And I would love to just sit down and be a sponge and listen to your life story. So, yeah, what would I talk about if I had 30 minutes? I'd probably just filled 30 minutes talking about a whole lot of nothing that I would talk about.
Yeah, and I think the situation kind of lends itself to whatever is happening at that particular moment, right?
Yeah.
To where, one, if you're at a place where you kind of have an agenda, whether it's a job or whatever, sure, you're going to go down that path, but like, man, I'd just, like you, I'd just much rather talk about, pretty much, I mean, and I said this to you, it's pretty much our show.
Yeah, that was your response. It's pretty much what we do every
and we do it every Thursday.
Yes.
It's like, hey, what do we got? This is going on. Okay. Yeah, we talk about our kids. We don't talk about, in this particular show, our jobs and what we do for a living or our group, but it is just that. Like,
yes.
How do you talk about the Oxford Light, for crying out loud, last week to Pop-Tarts?
Yes.
Today.
My youngest said in the car yesterday, we were talking about something and we were laughing. And she said, when I watch funny shows and I'm alone, I don't laugh.
Yeah.
Which is just foreign to me. I don't comprehend that. Like, how do you not, like, if it's funny, it's funny.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're alone or if you're with 1,000 people. Funny is funny.
Even a chuckle.
Yeah.
Like something like.
So I sent her a text. So we were at the dentist, and she's getting her teeth clean. I'm getting my teeth clean. We're in 2 different rooms, and the dentist that was supposed to do like the follow up when you're done, just check, everything's good here, which I had a great visit yesterday. Everything was great. You got great teeth. Thank you. But the dentist got hung up with a cap or something and it took her much longer than anticipated. So me and Audrey were just sitting there, and then she texts me and she's like, "Are you still here?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still here." "You still here?" She's like, "Yeah." And we were joking, like, I'm about to just fall asleep. Yeah. She's like, "I think I'm just going to fall asleep with my mouth open. So when they come back, they don't wake me up and they can just do what they need to do."
Finish with it, yeah.
I'm like, that's good. So I sent her a quick selfie of me. Yeah. And she responds back and says, "I laughed out loud alone." So Dad still got it.
You did it.
Dad still got it. So good job, Audrey.
So, all right. So here we are. Week 13. We forgot one order of business.
Yeah.
Yeah. One order of business.
We went down the rabbit hole quick today.
I know. It did. And,
But we can recover.
Yeah. It's 30 minutes, whatever, hour, 15 minutes, whatever time frame we're at, about nothing, right? That's
right.
About nothing or about anything. So last week, my email count, again, from my home screen, was 156,458. Today, 157,378, which again is about 900, which seems to be the trend. I'm adding at a pace of about 900 per week. So today, I can bet you next week we'll have another 900. So we're a little early today.
About 158, 200, 158,
maybe that's the game. Maybe that's the game.
We predict. I'm gonna say 158.
We haven't gambled on anything for lunch yet. So
no, we haven't had the
and
lunch in a
I
while.
promise you have my word. I will not delete emails or send my own emails to myself to add.
Speaking of lunches, I'm having lunch with Nick Kostoff tomorrow.
Awesome.
So when Jamie Morgan and I had lunch,
Yeah.
that name came up, and Nick and I, we were grade school together.
Yeah.
So we go back to second grade, and when Jamie mentioned the name, I was just like, man, I miss that guy.
Yeah.
So I reached out to him about a month ago, and it was conflicting schedules. He was on vacation. I was going out of town, and so we pinpointed tomorrow to have lunch. So that is definitely a blast from the past of going back all the way to second grade to reminisce those.
So you're absolutely right. So I'm fortunate enough to where he actually lives in our neighborhood. So we talk and interact, every couple of months, every couple of weeks, month, whatever.
Right.
Just kind of chiming in, checking in, seeing each other. So, which is great.
Yeah.
Like when he first moved into the neighborhood, it was like, oh, I was the same way. Like, oh, Blas, I wonder what he's doing. So that should be a lot of fun. You guys will have some really good stuff. We can follow up on some of that stuff next week. But getting back to gambling for lunch. 157, 378 emails. What's your bet for my email count next week?
158, 181.
158, 181. All right. I'm going to go 158, 246. 158, 246. Loser buys lunch. So, all right, we're at that point of the show. Today, thank you, Local Legends. Thank you, White Oak Productions. We kind of changed up the music a little bit. We kind of were into that 1989 feel. I didn't get to really talk about Jay Bruce retiring. So, I got this jersey on.
Yeah.
But we'll save that.
Votto gave him some love.
We'll save that for another day, another time. I'll even write that down. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And just like in 1996.
Whoa, shoot, we're in 1989. What do they say? They're like groovy or catch you on the flip side.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Catch you later.
Yeah.
All right.
Catch you on the rebound.
Catch you later.